Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Naturally Hugh. This will be the last of the strength cycle. I'm currently back in hypertrophy. And again, since I've already introduced you guys to what I do for warm-ups, just going to be speeding right through this part. Just trying to get my legs warm to get heavy on squats. Worked up to 365 for 4. Did hip thrusts, hip abduction, Bulgarian split squats, some calves that just aren't part of the video, and then show you guys at the end all the different stretches I do, which I'll go over. Believe highly in stretching. I'm a big believer in stretching and trying to keep your flexibility up. I feel great afterwards. When I'm finishing a leg day, everything is sore, tight, hurts. But after the stretching, I genuinely feel great. So I'm just going to be showing you guys what I do. I'm not a yoga specialist or anything like that, so I don't know the exact names of it, but I'm going to explain it the best I can. But yes, again, just doing the same old warm-ups. So just doing the leg swings to warm up, hip flexors, glutes, hip external rotators, and then go into the cherry pickers to warm up my hamstrings, and then finally we're doing the walking flamingos to warm up my quads. Again, just because I don't want to go into the workout cold. Now we're going to be getting into the barbell squat, which I try to make everything look as similar as possible, from just the bar all the way up to the 365. So how I squat, I take more of a toes pointed out approach. I can't get the same amount of depth when I'm facing toes fully forward. Everyone's different. There's no one way to do it. I put my toes a little bit out. I am very much a high bar squatter. I've never been a low bar squatter, just not my thing. Again, there's so much variation you can do with certain movements. There's not a one shoe fits all approach. But yeah, so I am a high bar squatter, toes pointed out. I like to get full depth, ass to grass. Try to brace my core, kind of bringing my rib cage down to my pelvis, and I'm creating that intra-abdominal pressure. So it's much easier when I have my belt on, but trying to push my stomach out, get air in there so it's nice and tight, and then that's when I go down. And I typically blow on the way back up. But so, yeah, here are my warm-ups. Trying to, again, make them all look the same as hopefully my 365 will look. So I start off with the 45, 135, 225, 315. Again, I'm trying, just like with the back day deadlifts, I try to keep a belt off for as long as possible. Just trying to train a good core and back. So this will be my last set without a belt. And then for the 365, I put it on. 365 felt pretty good. Fourth one was definitely a bit forced. Just really wanted that fourth one, but walked away with no pain. So I call that a success. Another big thing, if you are a newer lifter, is make sure you got the safety pins set up every single time. Or if you get a spotter, if you ask anybody around, they're more than likely to help you out. But just in case you need to bail, I don't bail during this video, but I could do a video about how to bail, just for safety. Lifting is very serious, especially when you up the weight. There's been fatal videos, so just learn how to be smart about it, be safe, how to bail, have people help you, just so you don't get yourself hurt. I feel like that's a huge thing with lifting heavy. I've hit 365 before. I've gone to 405. That's my current PR. I feel like I could beat that right now. I'm just trying to play it smart. I want to beat it by a good bit, not just by hitting 425 or whatever. but a big part of lifting is the mental part. So this was very big for me. I think I've only ever hit 365 for like 2, so doing it for 4 was a big thing for me, especially no spotter, no nothing. Now I do a back offset with squat. I do it with bench as well. I go to my top set, my heaviest, and then I go back to basically what my other workup set was. Just get a couple more reps in, a little bit more work, feel the burn a little bit more. I decided to keep my belt on just because my back is already cooked at this point. I'm not really trying to still build my core after doing the 365. So that's why I keep the belt on for this. And then now we're going to be getting into hip thrust. For hip thrust, I've been kind of messing with my form a little bit between hinge, which is what I'm currently doing here, and the scoop technique. Just because, just like everyone else, sometimes I feel my lower back blow up, so I've been messing with it. Hinge technique is when you're keeping your torso and head all in line. And then scoop technique, I'll show a different video. But so doing 315 for 6, again, still in the strength cycle. But felt a little easy, so went up to 365. Now this was hard. It's just a lot of weight. Girls are crazy at this. I don't know how they do it so much, but yeah, this was very, very hard and blew up my glutes. But so finishing with this little hip thrust, and then we get into Bulgarian split squats, which after squatting and hip thrusting is absolutely terrible. It's not fun at all. But yeah, this is just still with the hinge technique. I'll probably do a scoop technique on the next video the next time I do hip thrust, just because, again, I feel like it helps with the lower back a little bit. So these were absolutely terrible. Quads were already blown up, just blew my glutes up a little bit, so this was rough. Some of the time you'll see that I'm struggling to balance. But I learned from a mentor of mine, Charles Sams, worked for him, and he was my old personal trainer, trying to keep my shin angle the same as my torso angle. So really driving that knee over my toes and bending over a little bit. But so I do 6 on each side. As you can see, I'm kind of contemplating between each set, especially when I'm switching between legs, because this is exhausting. Very, very hard. I feel like this is something you do when you're working up. If you're more like advanced and you're just trying to progress more, I wouldn't start off with these, to be honest, because it's just a lot of volume and a lot of work. But again, just at the end of my strength program, so this is like the most progressed thing I was doing, to just really blow up my quads as much as I can, and glutes. It works the entire leg. Really trying to just focus on only driving from that front leg. That back one is just for balance. You can see I'm not really touching it at all. Putting all my weight on the front. There's ways you could do it to make it more glute focused, but again, I'm just trying to really blow up my quads here. And it's funny because I feel like 6s, I don't really blow up as much. Like when I'm doing strength training, my cardio isn't really like a limiting factor. Now, hypertrophy training, sometimes those 10s and 12s feel like cardio, especially when I'm squatting like 315 for 10. I'm like dying on the 9th and 10th rep. These Bulgarian split squats, they blow me up. As you can see here, I am really, again, contemplating. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? Trying to just psych myself up, catch my breath a little bit. I think on the last set, in between right and left, I'm full on just like sitting down, taking a breather. I left it in the video just to show like, yeah, this shit's hard. I don't want to do it either. But again, just trying to be great. I feel like I wasn't keeping my torso angle as close as I wanted to towards my shin angle, so I feel like the second set and third set is a little bit better. But also in the second and third set, I try to speed through it a little bit. we all do it because these exercises get really, really hard. But yeah, I definitely tried to speed some of these reps. And then again, here's me like, why am I doing this? And fully out of breath. Now we got the third and final set. Again, for the strength training, I definitely would recommend taking your rest time. I know they say, or a lot of people say, like, oh, only take like 60 seconds, 90 seconds. No, take as long as you need for your heart rate to go back down a little bit, for you to not be breathing as hard. When I was doing my strength program, I was resting probably about 2.5 minutes at the minimum. Going also up to like 3 because you're pushing hard. I'm trying to go close to failure, especially at the end of the training program. That's what I'm working up to. You aren't going to be able to do that successfully only resting 60 seconds. Especially if you're trying to push up the weight like 5 pounds or 2.5 pounds every week. It's just not going to happen. So take your rest time. On leg days, even though it's only like 5 exercises or so, 6 maybe with calves, I'm there damn near 2 hours because majority of the time I'm resting, waiting to put in the work for the next set. So take your rest time seriously. Take a break. I know it sucks. You just want to get through it, but rest. And so this is last few reps. Now we're going to be getting into hip abduction. I struggled with hip abduction before. I just sometimes would get a not feeling of pain, kind of like a cramp in where my femur connects to the hip, like the hip socket. So the standing one actually feels better for me. This one felt all right too when I'm leaning forward. But yeah, I definitely, if you feel like that, I would try the standing one. I didn't feel any pain when I did it. I don't know why I'm very much just like a full body type of person. Whenever I'm working a body part, whether it's back or legs, I want that entire section of my body to feel it. So that's why I throw in hip abductions, hip thrusts. I want quads to feel burnt, hamstrings to feel burnt, glutes to feel burnt, and then calves at the end of the workout as well. So that's why I throw in these little hip abductions. Obviously, I'm a dude, don't really need a big booty, but just to make it all whole. For these, I was doing sets of 10, not really trying to max out on the hip abduction machine, just not really what it is. So just again, was doing the 10 just to feel the burn of it. For most things, I like to have a tempo of, I kind of explode on the way out and try to be a bit more slow on the way in. So like 1 to 3 seconds. It's not exactly that, but just that's a good benchmark, I guess I could say. Really just focusing on the eccentric. I love feeling the stretch on movements. I don't know why, but that's also where you're building your strength from, is the eccentric portion of the movement, which is, the eccentric is basically just the stretching part. So like on here, it's when your legs are coming back together. The concentric is when you're pushing them out. Now we got the GHR the GHR is what I'm on, and then we're basically doing like Nordics. Not going all the way up because I'm just working on, again, the lengthened position of it. Now that I'm in my hypertrophy phase, I'm doing just weightless Nordics and going all the way up, but just really trying to blow the hamstrings up. And these are hard. Again, this is kind of like the Bulgarian split squats. This is just towards the end of my program. So I would work up to it. I wouldn't, if you're like a novice lifter, I wouldn't start off with this because these are hard, like really hard. A different hamstring movement that I like to do a lot is just leg curls. I typically do the lying leg curl. I feel like I feel it more, but the seated one is also very good, and I feel like I could definitely do more on that one. But I do like how lengthened my hamstrings feel in the big stretch when I'm doing the lion leg curl. And I don't know why I thought that this would be a different angle and it'd show my hamstrings off or whatever. Yeah, didn't really work out that way. But now we're getting into the end, which is just stretching. So I'm going to talk through each of them. So this is just really just touching your toes, stretching the entire back portion of your legs, hamstrings. Obviously, after just doing the Nordics, you need to stretch those out quite a bit. Then we get into flamingos. Now we're just doing all static though. So unlike how we did it dynamic to start the workout, we're just holding it. You keep the dynamics towards the beginning of the workout. Static is towards the end. This is just to help with recovery. Not really, I feel like a regressed portion to this. Towards the end, we get towards a little bit harder of stretches, and I'll explain different ways to do them. So this, again, I'm not a yoga specialist. I don't know what to call it, but this is just a really good hamstring stretch. And then I'm trying to put most of my weight on that hamstring. So you put your foot forward and then sit all the way back, and you'll feel it a lot on your hamstring. A regressed version of it would be the first one, which is where you're just touching your toes, or if you're sitting down and trying to touch your toes. This is kind of just like a sprinter hold to just stretch your hip flexor. Then from that, I go into a quad stretch. So I'm basically going knee over toe again, and then I grab my back leg and pull it all the way to my butt. And let me tell you, this is a great quad stretch, but it's very hard. Regress version would just be a regular flamingo. If you're not that flexible, I wouldn't do it. I would just work up to it. And then again, we're getting into the other side. So now we're doing the hamstring again. Again, this one is a little bit more of a progressed one. So if you want most flexible, I would just stick to sitting down and touching your toes, or if you're standing up and touching your toes. This one, for the hip flexor, I feel like mostly anyone could do, because you don't have to go as far, like knee over toe or anything like that. I feel like you'll feel a hip flexor stretch no matter the range. And yeah, this one is hard. Now we get into pigeon stretch, which I do it on the floor. You can do it on a bench as well. But so on the floor, I bring my foot and ankle over, and I'm trying to keep that at like a 90-degree angle. And then you can either do it sitting up, or I lay into it and just really try to turn into that leg that I bring over. That's why I feel the stretch the most. But again, a regressed version of this would be to just sit up tall. So kind of where I'm at right now, but just sitting up tall like that, keeping it at a 90-degree angle instead of bending into it. Or again, you could use it on a bench. And then finally, getting into calves. So calves is pretty simple. I realized this wasn't really the best angle to show it, but so you're basically at top of like a diamond push-up position, and then you have one foot on top of the other, and you're trying to push that bottom heel into the ground. And then like the further you go, like the further you push your foot back, the bigger the stretch will be. And yeah, that's basically all the stretches I do every single leg day. And yeah, that's how I try to stay flexible. Let's get big.